Hello, I think we are live already. Um, just checking as usual on the chat that we should be live. Yes, we are live. So welcome back. And for today we have a surprise. There is Simone with us that will stay for the entire episode. And yeah, I think probably all the guys that are following this one live know already who Simone Trevisiol is. For the people that probably will find this stream later and will wonder, Simone Trevisiol is the track guy for Assetto Corsa. He basically worked on, he basically did all the tracks in Assetto Corsa, apart I think from Zandvoort, no Simone?
Zandvoort, yes.
Yeah, he didn't do Zandvoort, but you did work on Zandvoort.
Yeah, some work just
Okay.
to align it on
Okay.
the other tracks.
So we will have Simone with us. So if later when we go into the QA section, if you want to ask something to Simone, just start your questions with Simone, and then so we know that you're asking something to him. So as you know, last week there was a little bit of drama where I decided to cancel the stream that I was planning to do last week. The reason was that I got in a very deep state of depression following a little bit of drama that happened on the forums. What happened basically was that we decided to close a section of the forum because it turned out that that section of the forum was not really doing what it was supposed to do. And as usual, that was something that came at the end of a discussion between us. And the more we talk about it, the more reasons to actually close it came out. So we just decided to close it. We were totally aware of the fact that the decision could create problems. In fact, as soon the people started to open threads on the forum, I went there saying, well, I totally understand you guys, that you are not happy about this. And I sort of said, well, you are allowed to be disappointed and, break the rules in this thread. Then what happened was that I realized that the more we were trying to explain the situation, the more the situation got really out of control. And the sad part is that some people started to accuse me personally of lying or things like that. And it's something that is quite difficult to take, because once you dedicate such a huge part of your life to what you're doing, and in our case is Assetto Corsa. I hope we didn't lose Simone. Hopefully he's coming back. And you start to see the way people sort of describe you on the internet, and it's hard. It's really hard. I totally understand that. I totally understand that it's a completely normal thing. It's impossible to be liked by everybody. So eventually you will always find somebody that doesn't like you, doesn't agree with what you're doing. Let me just check quickly if Simone is gone. Okay, Simone is back.
I was gone for a moment.
Okay, so I don't know why you are not. Okay, I put you full screen like this. I don't know why I lost your webcam here. Can you call me back, Simo?
Sure.
I close this and you call me back.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So yeah, so I was saying it's impossible that everybody like you. Eventually, you will always find people that sort of make it a point of their presence online to sort of point out that, you know, in a way they don't like you, or they're not happy with what you're doing and the way you're doing it. So anyway, I actually got to the point where I officially quit the let me get Simone back. Okay, let me see if this, okay, now we're back. I got to the point where, you know, for a couple of days I actually quit really the idea of working on Assetto Corsa anymore. I was actually already thinking on what kind of games I will do next, and then I ended up reading a lot of messages that you guys sent by email, by personal messages on the forum, and and I realized that you know, I shouldn't really I should really do this, you know, because of the people that are following us, and not because of the people that for some reason, and I'm sure that they have good reasons, because I'm definitely not an easy person, and many times I end up answering on the forum in a very violent way, and there are of course justification, because that I have the bad habit of using forums while I'm working. So maybe you get frustrated because you're working on something that doesn't work, or on something like I've been forced for the last couple of months to work on, that you don't like, but you have to do it anyway. So it's inevitable that frustration comes out on the forums in the message. So it's totally normal and understandable that there are people that don't like us. The other thing I want to say is, of course, there are a lot of rumors, and this is a part that really, of course, annoyed us even more, because by now you will know the big news about Porsche in Assetto Corsa. And when all this mess happened last week, we knew already that people were starting to create crazy stories about they did it because of Porsche, or there are people there who still think that we were both by turn 10. And you know, I think I don't know how to say without, you know, sounding rude. I think there are a lot of people that try to convince themselves and the other that they are smart and they are able to see through things, or read through the lines and go like, you evil corporation, you will not fool me. You know, I know what you're doing at the back. I know that 9/11 was a cover-up. I know that the earth is flat. I know the evolution is a lie, or things like that. So, well, you know, I don't know what to tell you. You know, if you want to think this happened because of Porsche, or because we were bought by turn 10, honestly, I think you're just the kind of person that is just looking on the internet to confirm what your idea already is. So you're not open to really understand what I'm saying. So it's basically a waste of time. And, you know, good luck to you in your life. But, you know, I think you're a total idiot if you think that. But I can understand the reason why you do it. And there is no way for me to prove you that you're wrong. So if you want to keep going, I think that, you know, I'm a liar. We are a liar, and you know, I have a turn 10 T-shirt hiding at the back. Go on, think that, you know, I really don't care. So let's move on to some more positive things. Let's move on quickly to have a look at some questions. Guys, I just want to ask you, the way it works is like, you know, the correct place to leave the question is in the comment in this video. So leave it here if we don't see your questions in the QA, and so I will answer to your question next stream, but you know, just leave it in the comments here. Okay, so let's start with the question. So we have Aleph Moraes, which that is asking, nice work on the AWD code. So is there be some sort of launch control system in the cars in the future? Is not really something that I know much about, and I don't know. I would like to, but I don't know at the moment. Todd Newberry, very interesting question. What has been the most difficult aspect of the game to code? And I would say that the difficult part are, of course, the part where you cannot find documentation and information on how to do things. There are part of a race simulation that you can find a lot of information in, and that's things like, of course, the graphics part of it, because it's common to any game you do. So race simulation has some difference between other games like a first-person shooter or other, but generally speaking, what is true for one game is also true for racing simulation. So lots of information there. Things about car dynamics and tires, there is a lot of stuff. There is actually more stuff that you can learn. There is more information that you can actually learn. So the difficult part for me were definitely the drivetrain, because drivetrain really, as I said, I think in some of my previous stream, really doesn't have much documentation on it. So when it comes to drivetrain, most developers are a bit in the dark, because there isn't really anything to turn to sort of understand how really to model a drivetrain. What I would suggest, and really helped me, was this thing. This is a program called Open Modelica, which is an open source program that is sort of designed to replicate some other high-end engineering program. But this is open source and it's free. And part of this, you can actually create a drivetrain, and you can set up some tests. And that's very interesting, because you can validate your code against the result of this program, and that can start to give you some confidence when it comes to things like differentials and things like that. So it's not the easiest and most friendly program to use. It's incredibly slow. It is written in Java. I don't know if Java is the reason why it's slow, but probably just the front end is written in Java. But anyway, it really helped me a lot since the early days in Netcar, this thing. So I really suggest this thing. The other very complicated thing is multiplayer, and the reason is that, again, multiplayer, you find a lot of information about the basic stuff of the multiplayer. Okay, how you send a message, how you send a packet, how can you make a reliable system where you send a packet and you build a system where you can guarantee that that packet arrive, which really you can't, but it's just a matter of setting up a system where you send a packet and you wait for another packet that is from the server that you send, say, well, I received that one, and if you don't get that sort of acknowledgement, you send it back until the guy tells you, yeah, okay, I got it for real. So you find lots of information about this. What you really don't find is something that is specific about racing games. And racing games, compared to something like first-person shooter, have very different problems to solve, because in a first-person shooter you have a lot of things happening with lots of objects that you need to make sure that sort of are in the same situation on a different computers. But the movement of everything is quite easy to predict. The typical first-person shooter character is moving at a constant speed, so it's either moving at that speed or is not moving. A race car not only is never moving at the same speed, is never at the same acceleration either. So how to achieve a smooth movement is not really something that you find. You literally cannot go to a library or to Amazon and buy a book that will tell you those things that you need to create a multiplayer system for a racing game. So you're basically by yourself, completely by yourself. You know, there is nothing you can do about it. And artificial intelligence is a similar thing, where there are books and things that tells you the basic stuff about artificial intelligence, but when it comes to the details about racing simulation, you really cannot find many informations. Let's move on. Rift Racer. Hi Stefano, just wondering about the blurriness when post-processing is used with the Oculus Rift. Any idea what is causing that? It looks clear without post-processing. Would love to be able to use it and still have it clear. I think the post-processing in general is creating a sort of more blurred image, especially if you have FXAA enabled, which is exactly what it's trying to do. I don't know, Simone, do you have some idea why the...
I think it's the HDR.
Yeah, the bloom.
HDR and
the
and
bloom.
blue.
Yeah. So it could be just part
Not
of the
much,
post-processing.
not much we can do.
Not much we can do. Right. Okay, so let's move on. Rafael Frike. Stefano, a chit chat question. What's your favorite car in real life, live or not in AC? I don't know. Probably if I had to buy a car right now I have a bicycle because I'm in Holland. So if I had to buy a car, a normal car will be probably the Toyota GT86. And you know, if I want to spend lots of money on it, you know, it probably would be a Mustang or a Nissan GTR or something like that. And in AC, I think it depends. If I'm in a mood for just driving around, I like a car that slides a lot, like the Lotus 25 or the KTM. If I'm racing,
I like the crossbow.
yeah, yeah. Online, I think I prefer cars that are not too hard to drive because you can concentrate more on the racing itself. So GT3, MX5 Cup. How about you, Simo?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
GT3s or the last MX5 is nice. For racing is nice.
Yeah.
But if I have to drive alone, I prefer the crossbow because it's very funny. It's a lot of steer lock.
Yeah.
So you can slide.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice.
How about real life?
If I could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. BMW 235
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, so two questions. Oops, I lost it. So two questions. How is this experimental gyro effects of the front wheels affecting the force feedback you were so excited about last seasons of streams? Aris is using it all the time, I think. I am not right now. So the code is pretty much done. We're still not convinced. The point is that I think if there was a new project like Assetto Corsa 2, probably that would be on by default. But we saw already that it's not a good idea to change too much when the software is out, because people get really used to something, and if you change that they like, you know, they will start to complain. So at the moment, I mean, there is no other work scheduled to do that. What can be done about my wheel shaking like mad when stationary? Well, I think the only steering wheel that does that is the Logitech 920. So if I remember correctly, Logitech put out a firmware update for that to solve that. If that doesn't solve it, the only thing that is active when the car is not moving is the damping. So if you turn down the damping, and I think there was something in the settings, let me try to remember it. Where was it? There was something that was specifically, here we go, damper gain set 0 for Logitech 920. So you can try this one, put that to 0 or a number that is low enough that doesn't create you problems, and that should help a little bit. Let's move on. Next one, will the controllers for turbo ABS traction control someday will be bindable to buttons? The good news is yes. Finally, next version they will be bindable, and we will have buttons for ABS and traction control up and down, so you can increase or decrease. So if you want to decrease, you don't have to go through all of them. You know, and again, thanks to Manuel Darin that is working on this. You know, he's awesome, and he's making all this thing happen for you guys. Where Slaves is asking about Dutch coffee, if they have their own coffee. It's quite different from Italian coffee. It looks like Italian coffee tend to be what other people call espresso, which is very, very short and very dense. And Dutch coffee is a little bit like the espresso, but it's much longer. It's not totally watery like American coffee or English coffee. So it tends to remain very creamy, but it's massive, it's very big. And I love it, totally love it. And then he says something about the AI, basically saying if there's going to be work done on the AI, and yes, usually the answer is yes. You know, eventually I will schedule 2-3 days to work on the AI and try to improve a bit of everything. Farts from hell. Will the cloud update of 1.7 will be only limited to clouds, or there will be color curve weather color changes? Simone, do we have a cloud update?
Yes, we will have a clouds update, and also some change in the weathers and PPFX.
Okay.
Not too much, no. Just some slightly change.
Okay, that's the advantage of having Simone in the stream, because my answer would be like, did we change the cloud? I didn't know that.
We changed.
Yeah.
They were all since the beginning. They needed some.
Okay. Ben UK 1981 is asking if there are chance of multiple LCD, and yes, I like the idea. I like the idea very much. It's not even that complicated. Just have a different file for every single page. It's one of those things that, you know, if I find, like, you know, a couple of hours with nothing to do, I will just put it inside. As usual, doesn't mean that our cars will use it. Very difficult, because, you know, now you know that we have Porsche, and you know that we have so many cars to do that, you know, sadly is not the kind of things that we cannot go in that kind of detail, sadly. Jim Liak asks, do you know that restarting a session grip level will not reset? If you're talking about multiplayer, I'm working on it right now, so that's fixed. I don't know if that's a problem also happening in single player, but we'll double check. But the answer is yes. So we went through these questions. Let's move on very quickly to the next topics. I want to thank two people. First, of course, Marco, because as usual, you know, he did this incredible, amazing feat to bring Porsche to Assetto Corsa, and yeah, it's really totally an honor to be able to work with him and to share the company with him. It's a fantastic achievement, and you know, he should be really happy about what he did with Assetto Corsa, because it's totally unbelievable, totally unbelievable. And then I want to thank David Dominguez, which, you know, in last stream sent me a message about a problem with the alignment torque on the tires, and I was suddenly the chat at the end of the stream stops, so we couldn't really interact. But I went to check the code, and then I saw, and then I found, oh, actually he's right, you know, this thing is wrong. So I spent some time there to fix it, and then I went and I saw that he posted lots of information on race department that, you know, wasn't really needed because the message was easy enough to understand. So thank you very much. You know, you are an asshole, but this time you were right. So yeah, so let's move on. I also have Simone to help me today, because I know that I will get a lot of questions about Porsche, and I don't know anything at all about Porsche. So, you know, maybe Simone will help.
Yeah,
No, no, we don't really know that much about Porsche. So there you go. So what's something new that we will have in the next version? I don't remember if I talked already about this, but we fixed the way. Well, it's not really fixed. We implemented a system where now the tire pressure is actually influencing how the temperature spread works between the various parts of the tires. So you will be able not only to see the effects of the pressure raising up the temperature in the middle of the tire if the pressure is high, and if the pressure is low, it will go higher on the side of the tire, but you will also be able to somehow control the temperature of the tire using the pressure, by the assumption that a tire with less pressure will generate more heat than a tire with more pressure. So more control on that thing. We have an option to start the simulation without using the launcher, which is something like a limitation of Steam. So if you try to launch ACSX, which is the simulator, you will not be able to do it, because Steam wants you to start with the launcher. So we create a system where if you write something into race.ini and then launch the launcher will say that what you really want is launch ACS, and then we'll launch the simulator. That will allow you to create something like this that you've seen sometime me using, which is just a quick replacement for the launcher. And yeah, so that's that. What else? Then we have, as I was saying, the control interface. So you will now have the possibility to change traction control, ABS, blah blah blah, using buttons on the steering wheel. And then we have something else that was requested by people, which I will show you right now. Again, the applause all goes to Manuel Darin for this one. You've been asking, I remember you've been asking something like this in some old stream, and I was laughing at you, but there you go. Where is it? There you go. Now you have a button to flash your lights. and this will also work on multiplayer as well, of course, because that's exactly when you want it. Then we have full starts, finally, which will be handled basically the way Netcar does it, used to do it, which is if you move before the starting light, you will be put in the pits and you will have a penalty to wait for whatever amount of time, 20 seconds or something like that. So that's the full start. So finally you will be able to put the first gear and use your clutch to start. That's good. And we will also use the same system probably to handle the situation where you go and you do escape to pits while you are in the race, and there are some situations where you actually gain time by doing that, and that will not be possible anymore because there will be a penalty attached to that. And I think Manuel is also having a look at all the settings for the damage repair time, which at the moment in Assetto Corsa are very, very low, and it ends up that repairing your car is not really something you pay a price, because also the process happens in parallel with refueling and changing tires. So you end up always repairing your car. It's not really, you're not taking any decision in that if you want to repair it or you don't want to repair it. So that's where we are at the moment. I'm also doing some work to try to make the situation when a race ends in multiplayer a little bit more how can I say, better, let's say like this, and also allow you to keep driving, so without being sent at the pits, which is something that I noticed looking at some streams of races with Assetto Corsa. It's not really nice to see the end of the race and this car disappearing after a few meters. It's not really nice, so we will just let you drive even when the race is finished. So those are the new things. Just before we go back, we just take advantage of Simone. Simone, tell something about you, especially.
Advantage of Simone is not very nice.
Well, people really don't know. They know so many things about me. The cats and so on. They don't really know much about Simone. So, what did you do before Kunos Simulazione?
I was a manager in a record shop selling CDs and vinyls for DJs for 10 years. And when I finished working there, I was helper of a photographer and studied visual arts and composition in a local school at evening after work, and then I joined Kunos Simulazione.
I don't know why, but for a long time I thought you were working in a photography shop and not.
No, I was also working after work.
Right.
When I finished work, I went to help a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
And
so how did you learn 3D modeling?
I started with what was the name of that software, with the Amiga 1000, the Sculpt 3D.
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember the other software. There were Sculpt 3D was for rendering, and then there was Deluxe Paint. Mm-hmm. With the Amiga, always the Amiga 1000. And then I switched to Bentley MicroStation, that was 1990 about.
Uh-huh.
And then
but what you were modeling?
Cylinders, tubes.
Right.
Teacups.
And your first track was Rijeka for Netcar, or you did something?
The first track I did was Lime Rock for Netcar 3, the first third-party track for Netcar Namie.
And that was done from scratch?
No. It was rework from a Grand Prix Legend version, not original, but also that was made by another guy who gave me permission, and I redid all. And then also Rijeka
and also Rijeka was from
Rijeka from scratch.
From scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the story was that when we started the experience with Netcar Pro, originally there was another graphic guy that I contacted to do both trucks and cars, but he ended up leaving us very soon in the project. So we were without artists, and I remember that Simone was behind this Rijeka track, and I call him, and he had the honor to redo Newbury.
I did also. I remember that you like Oldham Park from Netcar.
Yes, you also did that one.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. And so it's amazing how sometimes things really happen for coincidence, and here we are 10 years later. And he created all the tracks for Assetto Corsa. Quite amazing. Right, okay, so let's move on quickly. Today we are a little bit faster than usual. So guys, now is the time. Ban Simone for ripping tracks. So
I didn't rip, I asked permission. And the software was Videoscape 3D.
Videoscape 3D.
They are asking. And scoped 3D, not 4D.
Right.
I asked him. I am answering questions on the chat.
Okay. So if you have questions, guys, wait. If it is for Simone, you put Simone at the beginning. Fire him. Simone, how is it working on a simulation instead of something where you create more freely?
Andre, how is it working on a simulation? I don't mind, because environment gives you enough freedom. You have always to make a lot of compromises, and compromises make thinking and using a little bit of your fantasy. So I like, but I like driving cars, so I don't see myself doing, forests or I don't know, dragons,
castles, dungeons. Cats on Slicks is asking, the AI was decently overtaking in a multi-class situation in some older patches, and then it got bad again. What I've changed technically, what is happening at the moment, the reason why it is not able to overtake is that it's closing too fast. It's closing too fast, and the algorithm to change lane is not quick enough to get the car move out of the way. So it gets at the back of this car, and it goes into panic mode, into, oh my god, I'm gonna hit this guy, and so it's just slowing down, and it's unlikely, but it's sadly not hitting the player is always needs to be the first priority. Once that is achieved, then you can do other things. So that's what's happening in the moment, and it sucks, and hopefully I will come up with some idea to make it better. Until now I haven't, sadly.
I'm answering some quick questions.
The guy is asking for you, Simo. Is it possible that you could fix some truck's pit entry, like in the Nürburgring or Silverstone, so there is a white line on the correct place? Well, welcome to my world.
I will have a look. Why not?
Okay. So any plan to implement real-time evolving tracks with marble disc temperature and so on? From Giuliano. Well, we have an evolving grip of the track. There is always the possibility to do better. Always. We will never get to a situation where you cannot improve the simulation. Reality is always more complex than a software. So I don't see that happening in this version of Assetto Corsa. Rough understeer. Simo, is the rough? Is it four-wheel drive?
Yeah, we have one.
Yeah.
One.
If the one that is understeering is the four-wheel drive, yes, I think that with the new oversteer, with the new four-wheel drive code, it will get better. If you want to convince yourself, just have a look at try the Alfa Romeo 155 that before was terrible, and in the 1.6 is so much better. So eventually Aris will update that, and we will have that new code on all the cars. I think the only car that will not have it, because it's actually correct the way it is the Audi Quattro, the old one. That's the one that will not change. Any plans to output real-time car position delta so the external app can show them? Well, I'm surprised it's not there already. The performance delta, but it's something incredibly easy to do. So yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't have that. Yeah. I also think that the performance delta could be a possible solution to have a more fair penalty system, where the system can actually check if you had an advantage from whatever cut you did, and it can ask you to slow down to lose that advantage. I think it's something similar that other games are doing, especially iRacing. I think does something like that. Of course, it opens the door to a lot of cases, corner cases, where what happens where you don't have a lap time available to check with, or what happens if ever we get in a situation where the condition of the track becomes so much faster or slower, especially slower, and so even if you cut, your delta will still be positive. So whatever, but I think there is a possibility there to improve the penalty system using it. Actually, I already have something. I had it for years now, something like that. But because it doesn't work in every situation, it's just off at the moment. Right, Simone, Stefano, do you have resting time to sleep? Very good question. I think they are seeing our terrible faces. Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
Look here.
Yeah. Yeah. Not much sleeping time in Kunos Simulazioni, sadly. Yeah. Simone, would you consider making tracks more alive? Perhaps light flashes from camera around the track, waving flags and so on.
Sure.
You can blame me, Simone. Come on, blame me.
Sure. When we will have time to improve, we'll.
Yeah. Basically.
By the way, are things that are missing, and so yeah, we would like.
Yeah. At the moment, basically.
I would consider what is the question?
Flashes.
Consider making tracks more alive. Yes.
Yeah. At the moment, our engine is doesn't support basically any sort of action, anything dynamic on the tracks apart from the flags, which are ugly, And but it's not Simone's fault, it's my fault because I wrote the shader and I couldn't write it better than that. And what's the other dynamic thing? The balloons, no? The balloons.
Yeah,
That's
moving.
Yeah. So
straight line.
yeah, and in order to build something like that, Simone basically, in order for me to give the possibility to Simone to do something like that, you know, he will need a completely different engine where he can actually go there and put some script or something or animation and so on. And so it's not his fault, it's my fault. You can blame me. All for you, Simo. Yeah. Can we hope for car reflection to reflect other cars? That's for me as well. Also, some word on reflection fall off. You have something intelligent to say, Simone.
It's not that difficult to make, but it's quite heavy. So I don't know. The performance loss would be.
Well, car reflection on car, yes, is incredibly. You already see how taxing is when you enable reflection or if you put full.
Unfortunately, especially on the CPU. So
yeah, exactly. So that's basically multiplying your CPU cost by 6 if you want to put all the cars into the reflection. Plus there are a lot of situations where the reflection will just show the wrong thing. So suddenly reflection at the moment in games is a huge hack that we have to live with, where reflection and shadows is, both of them are really colossal hacks, and they work in a very different way from what people might imagine they work. And that's why you can immediately spot a picture from a game, like, you know, in a picture, if you see, for example, the reflection of your wing mirror in the car, that's a picture straight away, because you cannot do that in real-time games. You can do it with ray tracing renderer, but you know, you cannot do that in real time at all. Will some real dry suit Alpine stars appear in AC? I don't know. No idea. No idea.
I don't know.
Yeah. Can you add TV choppers on tracks? I think that's a similar helicopters. No, Simo.
Does mean helicopters?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
chopper.
They can go on a straight line. It's
Well, I mean, it can be stationary or moving slowly or hovering. You know, the problem is if we put helicopters with a TV, there will be people saying that the physics is not realistic. So, Stefano Simone, would the engine track design allow for the notch life endurance layout to drive the outlap? We were talking about this like 2 hours ago. We were talking about this.
You have to think about something because it's at the moment it wouldn't work.
Yeah, there are some changes that we need to do to the timing system.
If we didn't do it already, it means that it's not possible.
Yeah, it's basically it's something that we need to code specifically for that track. So yeah, of course you can imagine it's got a low priority. And the other thing that I think will never work, you know, we had a talk this morning about how to do it. We were also talking with Manuel and Luca Sodano about rolling starts, you know, how to approach that, all the problems that can come from rolling starts. And so what happens if a guy stops? What happens if the guy change line? What happens if a guy goes too slow? All those things. And we're also talking about this. It's something that I might imagine we could sort out in the multiplayer, but definitely not in single player, because it will need a completely separate code for the AI that, you know, is definitely not going to happen. To finish race, everybody when the leader crossed the line. Yes, that's part of the work that I'm doing as well. So that's definitely going to be in the next in the next version. So it's part of what I was saying about the end of the race being a bit more realistic. Yeah. When will Pushcart release? I think all Marco said was it was autumn, so we don't have a date. I think for that, and as soon as possible, as you can imagine, we want to release the car as soon as possible. So it's just a matter of us for us to work on them, and so you should be able to drive them in autumn. Stefano, after AC release on console, will you start working on AC2? I don't know. We haven't decided. We haven't decided yet. Probably not. Probably not. I think we definitely will finish the year. We'll still get updates, lots of updates, at least for this year. So I don't think there will be any AC2 work done this year. With PP effect off, brake lights are not visible. Do you plan to work around that? No, because, well, first of all, from our point of view, Assetto Corsa is Assetto Corsa with post-processing. And that's what we work on. There is also the possibility to run it without post-processing, but it's not really something that we officially support, if you want that. And everything that has to do with illumination, if you don't have a HDR system, what an HDR system does, which is what the post-processing give you, is the possibility of having an unlimited range, well, very big range of luminosity, of power, light power. So when you want to turn on something, you just put that power up of that object, and then what is happening is that at the end the scene is analyzed and it's found the right balance to see everything, so you see all the lights effects. Of course, with processing off, you don't see that, and there is no way to say it, so I don't see that happening. I don't know, guys. There are people asking about AC2, but we are not even thinking about it, so I don't think you should as well. So, Mugello short do not exist. I don't know if it's something. Do we have Mugello short? No. So,
it doesn't exist in real life.
Yeah, maybe somebody was asking in the chat.
Because there was a I don't remember which game, some of the Forza.
There you are confessing. Why you're playing Forza? It's our sister company.
I saw a video. Yeah, my keyboard is very noisy. I'm sorry.
Salim is saying, please answer. Okay, let's see. Is it possible to remove the video replay limit for system with more RAMs? Well, I think it's already 2 gigabytes or something like that. I don't remember how big it was. I don't think there is a. Is it a limit? I don't know. Simone, tell us something about the process of making a track from scratch. How long you have?
It depends on the complexity of the track. Usually when I receive the scan, and I start with the tarmac, I separate the tarmac from the rest of the points, and I derivate a mesh about 5-6 million triangles, and then I optimize it to be used in the engine, and from that I reduce it to generate the visual asphalt, and then I move on. I load the laser scan in the cab, and so I can work with all the objects with the laser and in real time, and then move on. Usually I start from the most important part and move to the less important. So I move outside from the tarmac. That's it takes about 3 months, 3 months.
Depends on track, because if you have
Depends
to do
on the complexity
a
of
Singapore or Monaco or something like that, is gonna
require a little bit more.
Yeah, the more buildings around, the more it requires work, isn't it? Or Baku, you want to do Baku.
Complexity in general. Also, Silverstone was a quite complex track because it has a lot of infields, a lot of different parts. To pit lanes took a lot of time.
Apart from the Nordschleife, which is, of course, it's got challenging because it's huge. What was the most difficult track, you think, in Assetto Corsa? The one that really made you? Silverstone.
Yeah, because it's also very flat, and you need to make it rich, to make it enjoyable. You have to invent something. If you go there in realities, there is nothing.
Yeah.
But nothing in computer games is not nice.
Yeah, I remember the very first version. The illumination was tricky there because it was all sky, sky everywhere. Yeah. Will Old Monza with Banking come this year? I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's almost ready.
We have to just.
Sometimes I don't remember if I already had a lap on the track. Sometimes we will have to show. I have to ask authorization to.
It's quite an experience.
It's quite an experience to go on. Actually, my Oculus Rift is broken right now. So mine is broken, and I didn't have a chance to try the sopraelevata. Actually, I said, I want to try this. I went there and it was broken. Oh my god.
I don't live in a tunnel. I am in my office now, so.
He likes dark.
Yeah. And other.
Simone, is there some software tools you could help you in making tracks? Is the scanning process possible on public road? Island Man.
Wait, I'm looking through. I want to read the question. Can you repeat? I don't find the question.
Caserial. Simone, two-part question.
I cannot find.
The one over Gaston is gone now. I think you cannot see it anymore.
So okay, fine. That could help you with making tracks and is the scanning process. I think the Isle of Man would be quite difficult to scan because you should have to stop the traffic, and once you start scanning, you can't stop. So you would have to scan it in one take, because the recalibration uses a GPS position. So if you stop the scan and after there could be some loss of precision. So it's better to make an entire complete scan, and to scan the Isle of Man would be quite a nightmare.
Yeah.
And software tools could help in making tracks.
Yeah. Danilo is asking if the Italian pack. Oh, we lost Simone again. I will have to call him again. Danilo is asking if the Italian pack is actually a thing. Well, we had to start beta testing the track, so I heard Marco saying Italian pack, so we still haven't decided what's actually inside, so maybe in his head he's got an Italian pack, but we had to start on, I think, last Friday to upload the new track to the beta testing. So I just had to give a name to it. That's the name that I gave it to him. So until Marco comes up and finalize the decision, but as you know, guys, he's in Le Mans right now, so he will be back, and we will either change the name or maybe the name will make sense. I don't know. Let me see if I can get Simone back.
Sorry.
Here we go. Okay, he's back. Somebody's asking a little bit more about Open Modelica. I haven't used it, like for a long time right now, because drivetrain is one of those things that you once you prove that it works, you just put it there and leave it there. It's basically a software where you can put together nodes, so you can put an engine, you can put a gearbox, you can put a ratio, you can put a differential and wheels, and then you can say, well, okay, so let's have a scenario where the engine is creating this amount of torque and the tires are creating this amount of torque, and then it's outputting graphs with the result of the simulation. So it's nothing exciting to look at, other than graph and numbers. But then, I have something similar to that, which is actually written in Go. Say, for example, this is some simple program that is doing checking equation for the drivetrain, and I run that. I ran it on Open Modelica, same situation, and I checked that the numbers are the same. The interesting thing about Open Modelica is that when I tried to make a four-wheel drive car with 3 differential, it said no, I cannot do that because it's too complicated. It's got too many unknowns, and I cannot solve this equation. So that was fun. Do I think that the current hybrid physics should be improved for the upcoming LMP1? I don't know about this thing, but I had Aris telling me, we got to do something for the hybrid. It's got to do something for the hybrid because it's got, it's got an electric motor on the front wheels or something like that. So usually that's the way it works. Usually Aris comes to me and say, we are going to do this car. We need this, this, and this. And I try to do it. The Hitman noticed that it's easier for PC graphic card to play against the AI, while in multiplayer find it lighter. I think what it is that probably I don't know what CPU you have, but if you have a CPU that doesn't have many cores, probably what is happening is that the threads that are doing the physics are disturbing your graphic thread, and so you have this feeling you get less frame per second. So if you get a CPU with more threads, you should be able to basically have no difference between 20 cars in AI or 20 cars in multiplayer. Stefano, what will happen to the telemetry button for opponents on the setup screen? What will happen? Honestly, I have no idea, because that's again part of a code that I didn't write at all. So sadly, I don't even know how it works. Sadly, I never use it, so I don't have anything smart in to say. Flanders Scarlett says, if we will get a solid axle for front wheels, not unless we get a car where we need to do it. And as far as I know, we don't have cars at the moment that require that. So
Which car? Yeah. Off-road. I don't know.
Very, 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 very old, like 1930.
Yeah.
Something like that. Simone, will the tunnel on Black Cat County be accessible?
Yeah. Let's see, in the time permitting, why not? Yes.
It's drivable, isn't it? That part of the track.
No, at the moment, no, it's closed. But
yeah, I mean, if you open it, you can drive. And there is no hole, you don't fall.
No.
Okay. Right. Do you plan any new tracks after Red Bull Ring?
We are thinking about.
We will see. Any chance of leaderboards and sharing Ghost? No. Sadly, no. I'm sorry, but sadly, no. Well, Steam has a support for leaderboards, but I don't know what kind of limitations they have. And the big problem that we have in Assetto Corsa, it's so easy to cheat that I think leaderboards will basically turn into a useless thing in like 3 days. In 3 days you will have people running 30 seconds faster than what they should, and at the end we have to turn into policemen. And last time our decision about closing the mod forum, that was the thing that started it. Really, I didn't want the guys to have to spend time trying to figure out if something was stolen or ripped or whatever, for nothing. So we need to work on software. We cannot really do that, sadly. If one day maybe Kunos Simulazioni will be big enough that we can have one guy policing all these things. No coding today. No coding today. I'm totally dead. Completely dead. Right. Okay. So I think let's take the last couple of questions and then we will be going. Will PC user have the option of mouseless user UI? Definitely not in the launcher. Inside the game, no, as well. I'm sort of abandoning the idea of the quick menu. It's something that I spoke in the forum about it, but because the actual the current version with the Oculus Rift works so well, I don't have this crazy pressure to come up with another UI. To be honest, I'd rather spend my time working on AI, multiplayer, and other things than trying to work on that. Rasbol is asking if there is a plan to add multiplayer session point or championship. Not in multiplayer. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to do that client side. So definitely not. It's something that's incredibly easy to do by hand. I don't see. Any chance for an update to the homepage? Yes, to the website, of course. Yes, is long overdue.
Did you drive Ferraris in reality?
What, Simone?
Yeah.
What is it?
Question. Simone, did you driven Ferraris in reality? Yes, the F430 and any of the tracks you made in game. Yes, I did Imola, Monza, and Nordschleife. I have about 100 laps.
Leonardo is asking if brake temps will also bring disc brake wear. I don't think in this first version we will have that. So we will start with temperature and see how it's going. So have I tried SRS? No, I haven't. But I read a lot about it, and I think it's awesome. You know, it's a fantastic thing, and you know, it's sort of come to realize what originally I was hoping for Assetto Corsa when we decided to make it so open. You know, I was hoping exactly that. I was hoping that the community would step up and, you know, fill the blanks or what was missing or what they thought was missing. So it's really great to see that happening. Brake temperature will be in 1.7. I don't know. I mean, the code is there. The code is there. Going from the code, the code literally took me a couple of days to do it. It's not complicated at all. The big, huge, colossal work is on Aris. So I have no idea what's the situation there. Is Kunos Simulazioni planning to hire more CD artists to help Simone with track ratio? Not in this
the guy
part.
Who asked is the one who helped me
All right.
with the Red Bull.
All right. Okay. It's Kirill. Okay. Well, it's not fair. Well, I don't think it's in this part of the project. I don't know. We will see. It depends. It depends what kind of tracks we want to do in the future. Any useful in NVIDIA DriveWorks that can be used in any AI routine? I don't know. I haven't looked into it, so no idea. I doubt it anyway.
My favorite mod track. I don't have time. Sorry, guys. I don't have time to
mod track. And yeah, they also ask me this very, you know, at the end. I think since Assetto Corsa started, I think the only mod stuff that I tried was the Mazda, the MX-5, your car, no, Simo? The old one, yeah. We tried that one. And I tried the Formula 3, the Dallara mod, and I think that's it. Those are the only two mod car that I tried. I think I tried the Cobra, and it was totally undrivable for me. You know, completely undrivable. It's like, you know, first corner in Vallelunga, oversteer, and there was no way to get it. And yeah, so yeah, and tracks, you know, the rally track. No, Simon.
Yeah.
But then I don't think we downloaded other tracks. So sadly, yeah, we hardly have the I think it's very difficult to convey how many hours a day we actually working on Assetto Corsa is difficult to give the idea. But you know, the fact that we're, you know, the both of us, you know, we are here on a Sunday, and you know, right before the streaming we were working. It just give you an idea of the situation. How is to work with Grumpy Stefano? Go, Simo.
I don't even think about anymore because it's more than How long I know Stefano? Since 2001.
Yeah.
So it's quite a long time.
15
So for me
years.
it's
15
natural.
years. Yeah.
What's your favorite track? If you consider the Nordschleife a track, all the others are video games. So take out the Nordschleife. I like a lot Barcelona, and I'm surprised that I like it so much. And I find also quite interesting now the Red Bull Ring, because it's it seems easy, but it's not easy. So yeah, I like it. And another track that I like, but if I tell it, it means that it's confirmed. So I cannot say.
Okay.
It's an American track.
Which is
That's
not
it.
confirmed.
Which is not
But we would like to do it.
Yeah,
We
I
like-
would like, but
Yeah.
it's not so famous.
Yeah. Do we speak Italian con simulazione or English? It depends if I think yeah, it depends if if we're talking just with Italian people, we use Italian. If there is some guy that doesn't speak Italian, we switch to English. So okay, so I think
We are not allowed to
we are
show-
not allowed to show the Red Bull ring. Marco will kill us. So yeah, you have to wait for him. So right, guys. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Thank you, as usual, everybody, for joining. Sorry for not going through much code or driving or whatever. I promise next time we will do better. I'll try to see if I can get Aris next time to join us, so you can bombard him with physics questions. And thank you to Simone for being with
My
us.
pleasure. My pleasure.
And I will see you next time. Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.